So I got this quad here. I've had this one for a few months now. I think I picked it up probably midwinter. And you can tell it's been sitting, it's pretty dusty. But this is, I believe, an 04 Yamaha YFZ450. Let me just go ahead and check the VIN real fast. 10th digit from the left is in fact a 4. You can also tell by the swing arm. It's kind of got the grooved edge over here. It's not the rounded one, but it does have these shaved fenders. It's got Pro Taper handlebar grips, Pro Taper bars. It's kind of got like a skull metal kind of theme to it, but so far there's no leaks on it. Actually, when I came to pick this thing up, you know, the dude had a video of it on the listing, and he told me it ran good and everything. The video was current. It was like a video that was taken a few days before he even popped up the listing. And I messaged him like a couple days after the listing was posted up. But anyways, when I went to go meet him, I was like, okay, I was looking at it, it looked pretty good. I didn't see no leaks on it. And I was telling him, I was like, all right, let's get this thing. It might be like a little oil leak right here. Yeah, this is loose. So that's a leak. But I was like looking at it. It was in the back of his truck. I took it down. I was like, all right, let's get this thing down and hear this thing pop over. And he was like, oh, I was in a hurry, man. I kind of just got off work and he forgot the key. I was like, dang. I didn't have no tools or anything to where I can take the addition off and bypass it. So what you can do is kind of, I've done this before, but you can pop this off. The whole middle part, you can pop it off and just like a little turn knob inside of it. Or I believe you can kind of like connect some of the wires back here. But like I said, I didn't have no tools. I didn't have cutters or anything. You know, I just came with cash. So he was saying that it ran good. The video was current. I asked to check the date on the video from his phone. He said he actually couldn't find the video when I asked him about it, so I was kind of like a little iffy. But he said it ran good. You know, it's not locked up. I can put it in gear and push it back and forth, and it cranks over. You know, you can hear it. You can hear the motor turn, and you can just feel it. But it does have the California off-road 2015. He said he got it. He said he moved, just recently moved, and he says he is having rough times and he needs to sell it. He also said whenever he was riding it, I guess he had some brothers or whatever. They got mad at him for some reason and took out the carrier bearing bolts. Where do they go? Yeah, like up here. The bolts are just completely missing. I believe there's one on top and bottom. Yeah, you can see down in there, the bolt's missing down there. He was saying, yeah, it just needs the carrier bearing bolts, and I was like, okay. Should I take the gamble on it? And I was like, I don't know, man. But it does come with the title. It is the California title. But you know, I checked the fluids. You can tell it has coolant, the oil. Let me recheck the oil. Usually on the 450s, you can't tell that it has oil until you crank it over. But it's on the very tip of that. It's pretty clean too. He said it was freshly rebuilt. You know, you kind of have to take their word for it because they don't have paperwork. And I was like, man, I don't know. He posted it for believe it was like $2,500 or $27. And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't like meeting up with people that, you know, the quad doesn't run when I get there. And the story kind of doesn't really, sounds iffy, you know? So I was like, kind of lowball them. And I was like, let me do, can we do like $1,600? Because I don't really know if it runs, I don't know if it needs to be rebuilt. I don't know, you know, what it needs at all. You know, he was like, you know, I could do 2,000. I just kind of sat there, just plotting around. I was like, let's do, I was like, most I could do is probably 18, man. He was like, all right, let's do it. Because I guess he needed the money, so I was like, all right, well, let's see. And he took the 18, I took it back home. Haven't really messed with it, honestly, because I had different projects going on. But in the wintertime, it's kind of slow, so now I'm back to it. But I'm just gonna go over the bike. The rear tires, seen better days. So is the front. It did come with paddle tires, a full set, front and rear, with the wheels. So has a slip-on exhaust, Yoshimura. It's got, I think that's the only thing that's aftermarket, it's just exhaust. Rear brake lights intact. Sprockets look good. It's just really dusty, you know. I need to clean it. But it's missing the temp light. The bulb's still in there, just missing the lens that has the temp logo on it. Missing a few bolts. Headlights are there. Headlight bulbs are there. Control arms look good. It does look like low hours because, you know, usually the control arms have the rusty bottoms on it from like hitting, like from going off-roading, hitting grass and everything. Everything looks really solid. Like, even, this is another sign too. The rubbing on here, maybe it's not too low of hours, but if there's no rubbing on here and the paint looks perfect, it's pretty low hours. Unless someone like repaints it. But yeah, that looks really nice. Like I said, no leaks. Let's see if the parking brake works, which I doubt. I can't tell, let me see. The tires are also flat too, so. Yeah, I can't tell at this point, but what I want to do first is I did order up a new ignition, but hopefully the battery's still good. Hard to say. This is all wonky, like, I don't know. This kind of needs to go like this inside of here. So that kind of sits like this. This wire was pulled out from somewhere. Might just be the ground. But I definitely need to check the ground for somewhere. I don't really know. But does have the aftermarket intake with a K&M filter. Looks pretty dirty. Has the whole tubing and everything. You know, looks pretty tight. Slide opens up. Throttle's good. Let's see. I'm gonna figure out where this goes. Look at a wiring diagram. So yeah, this is a ground, obviously. It's supposed to ground straight to the battery with the negative terminal. So I'm gonna I'm gonna splice this and stick on the negative. All right, let's just get this out of the way. Okay, it's good. Next, I'm gonna switch the ignition out. It's tucked in there pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and take the headlight off. Leave that hanging. Ignition is out. Here's the new one. It's really nice. Let's go ahead and pop that in there. Here's the key. I'm not getting nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and stick a jumper on it. See what happens now. Oh, we got neutral. We got the neutral light. Let me see if I can get another battery on it. All right, I got another battery on it. Let's see what happens. It's cranking. No gas. Pet plug is submerged in gas. Should be getting fuel now. See if the carburetor leaks. The carburetor does look pretty nasty. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does need cleaning. Put the choke on. Cranked over pretty good. No smoke. Let's check the oil. Yeah. Oil's clean. It's smoking up here because that residue that came off that oil bowl. So let's see if she'll crank over again. Get it warmed up. See if I can get it dialed in. It's not wanting to stay running. I think what I'm gonna do is take the carburetor off, see if it needs cleaning. It does not want to stay running with the choke off. That's a good indication that the carburetor is probably pretty nasty. And in the meantime, I could check the boots, see if there's any leaks. But I mean, she started over, cranked up. And so the ignition switch did help. And I guess the seller was right that, you know, I asked him if it smoked or anything. He said, no, it runs good. I just hasn't messed with it. And since the swing arm carrier bolt got taken out, and I guess he just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, pretty good find. $1,700, $1,800, I believe. And then the ignition switch, pretty much all it needs, and then the bolts. But it runs pretty good. We're gonna check the jetting on it. Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna go ahead and take the carburetor off. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this battery out too and get it all charged up. So, carburetor on a bench, essentially. I'm just using my quad. Anyways, so I was getting good gas, as you can see. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the bowl off. Of course, we had one that had to get stuck, but we ended up getting it out with some vice grips. And I do believe with these aftermarket ones, you gotta take these out first. So we're just gonna count how many turns we have out. So half. About almost 1 turn. Should be more. So we'll take this out. Should be a spring, washer, and O-ring. There's the washer. Leave a spring still in there, but we're gonna keep an eye out for it so we don't lose it. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. O-ring's pretty smashed on there. I honestly don't know if that's reusable, but we're gonna rock with it, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Clean that out. But yeah, we'll get this cleaned up. Let it soak a little bit in WD-40. Next we got the jets here. $175. My emulsion tube. Yeah, spring's still on there. It's alright. Pilot jet is clogged. That would explain it. Running a 50 and this thing is clogged, like I said. Just cleared up. Run some WD-40 through it. Yeah. Pilot's looking good now. Yeah, one thing you don't want to do is strip these jets. They're a pain to get out. Just make sure you get the right size flathead. Clear. See if I can get the float out. Yep, looks like it's moving. No gas. This feels pretty good. Okay. A little dirty inside of here. I do want to get the spring out though. It's alright. I'll just spray it, hopefully. You know, hopefully it stays inside there. Vents are good. I'm just going to go ahead and spray inside these. Also, the choke was working too, so. So I'm gonna get this carburetor cleaned up. They found that the pilot jet was clogged, which is the most culprit of not wanting to idle by itself without the choke. So I'm gonna get it all cleaned up, put it back together, put it back in the quad, see if we can get it started up. So the next thing I am gonna do is put a lens in here for the overheat light. I got an extra set of plastics here. Let's get rob this one off of it. Like I said, the bulb is still inside of there. Hopefully it's not burnt out, but we will see. I'm going to take apart the front bumper, or the front plastics, swap them out. Alright, so I just pretty much stole this whole thing from the other plastic piece. I checked the bulbs, connected the positive and negative to the wires. Obviously the brown, you know, they got positive and negative, so you just hook it up to the prongs and that'll show you that they work. So I'm gonna pop these back in with the lens. Here's the lens. Should be a play and plug direct fit. And yeah, you can also tell if your overheating light is working is if you crank it, that light pulses. And then whenever the bike starts running, it stays off. And then of course the neutral light is on when you're in neutral. So everything seems to be working. I'm gonna go and put the plastic back together. Should be good to go to try to start it. It already wanted to start, but it's got the accelerator pump. I was kind of clicking that while I was putting the carburetor in, so it's got a little bit of juice in it. All right, found that bolt. Now let's see what happens whenever we teach the idles. You know what I mean? Let me get y'all set up here.
need to turn the gas on. Else I didn't want to start at all. Let's wait for it to fill up gas, see if it leaks. So far I don't see any leaking. I'm gonna go ahead and choke it. Accelerator pump.
Not too bad. Had to adjust the idle screw a little bit, but it does run pretty good. So all I have to get is just the swing arm bearing bolts, the upper and lower one. Right now you can tell the notches right here, they don't line up, so the axle is a little twisted. But we got it to run though. Fixed this light here, got the new ignition, fluids all looked good. So the main problem was just the pilot jet was clogged. So all good there. I don't want to drive it just because the bolt's out. I know the axle will be twisted. So next video should be me having a new battery. The carrier bearing bolts should be in. And then we should be able to test drive it. So stay tuned for this one. This one should be good. You know, the jetting seems all right. It idles on its own. All the lights work. So, should be good.